Are you going through a breakup and the pain is unbearable? You can't eat, you can't sleep, and you're wondering if this feeling will ever go away? I went through the worst heartbreak of my life and learned something that changed everything about how I see love. Hi, I'm Ruxandra, and if you're barely holding on right now, this is for you. When I started dating, I had no instructions manual, just like you. Each heartbreak felt devastating and I desperately wanted answers. So I turned to books, articles, anything that promised to help me win at relationships. The advice was everywhere. Don't show you care, be indifferent, make them chase you. Don't cook dinner, give them popcorn instead. Be the prize. I followed these rules religiously. I became cold, calculated, strategic. I learned to manipulate situations, to withhold affection, to punish when I felt wrong. And yes, it worked. I won at these relationship games. But here's what I learned. When you play games in relationships, even when you win, you lose something far more valuable, your authentic self. I was attracting people who thrived on emotional games, people who weren't looking for authentic connection, but chasing the high of conquest. This led to a marriage that looked successful on photos, but was toxic and destructive inside. It took me years of self-reflection, years of celibacy to recognize who I truly was beneath all those protective layers. A loving, caring woman who wanted to give all her heart to someone deserving. When I finally started living authentically, I found someone, and I loved freely, deeply, completely, without restraint. I gave everything I had. For me, the relationship was magic, something I never thought I could ever experience. I couldn't believe this kind of connection was possible. And then my worst fear happened. It ended suddenly, painfully, completely. The pain was excruciating. It was the most painful thing I ever experienced, and I've experienced many painful things, but nothing of this sort. I didn't see a reason to wake up every day. The only thing keeping me going was hoping that maybe this wasn't the end. This was the relationship where I loved the most and I gave all my heart. It was both the most beautiful and the most painful thing I ever experienced. After the breakup, I was wondering if it was all worth it, the relationship happiness for all the pain I experienced. If you are in this place of acute pain right now, I see you. I was told I'd heal in 3 months. At 3 months, I was still crying daily. At 5 months, the pain had shifted but hasn't disappeared. It took me more than a year to find peace. Here's what I want you to know when the pain feels unbearable. This isn't a race. Your healing has its own timeline. Be gentle with yourself. Each tear is washing away what no longer serves you, making space for what's coming next. Don't rush into another relationship to bandage your wound. I know the temptation. I understand that desire to fill the emptiness, to prove you're still lovable, to simply stop hurting. But jumping quickly into something new isn't healing, it's hiding. It's like putting Band-Aid on the wound that needs to air to properly heal. All you're doing is covering up the pain that will eventually surface again, often more intensely. Instead, use this painful time to understand why your relationship didn't work. Take honest inventory of your part in it. Which patterns did you bring? Which red flags did you ignore? This isn't about blame, it's about growth. During that time, I questioned everything. How would I ever trust or love again? How could I be vulnerable knowing how badly it could hurt? But here's where the true empowerment begins. The walls we built to protect ourselves are the very things that prevent us from experiencing life's greatest joy. The more we try to protect ourselves from pain, the more we attract exactly what we fear. I remember walking into work one day trying to keep my usual cheerful appearance. A colleague looked at me and asked, "What happened? You look broken." I was broken, but being broken isn't the failure, it's the opportunity. When something breaks, you get to decide how to put it back together. You get to rebuild yourself stronger, wiser, more authentic than before. Now, completely detached from that pain and knowing myself better than ever before, I can say I'm grateful for that heartbreak, not because it was easy, because it wasn't, but because it taught me how deeply I can love, how powerful that connection can be. Your heartbreak isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's showing you your capacity for love, teaching you what you fully need, and revealing your incredible resilience. The greatest lesson I learned through this heartbreak wasn't to close myself off more, it was to open myself more authentically. This might sound counterintuitive when you're hurting. The natural instinct is to build higher walls, to swear off love, to protect that tender heart at all costs. But I discovered something profound. It's not about closing down, it's about opening up with wisdom. It's about learning to love yourself first and completely. You don't enter relationships to find someone who will love the parts of yourself that you can't love. That's an impossible task to place on another person. You can't outsource self-love. Nobody else can fill a void within you that you haven't learned to fill yourself. True healing comes when you face yourself honestly, when you learn to embrace every part of who you are, your strengths and your shadows. When you're whole within yourself, you don't enter relationships from a place of lack or desperation. You enter from abundance within, so much to give and a clear understanding of what you deserve to receive. Today, healed, transformed from that painful heartbreak, I stand ready to face uncertainty again, to love again deeper, more powerfully, more unconditionally than before. Not because I need someone to complete me, but because I am already complete and have so much genuine love to share. This is what love is all about. This is what makes us feel alive. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, I want you to see your heartbreak not as defeat, but as graduation. You've earned wisdom that no book could teach you. You've discovered strengths you never knew you had. So here's my message for you today. Don't be afraid to give your all. It took me 41 years to realize you can't protect yourself from being hurt. The more you try, the more you attract exactly what you fear. But first, heal completely. Take the time you need, not a day less. Fill yourself again with self-love, with joy, with purpose. Only then, with your cup overflowing, are you really truly ready to love someone else. Rise by loving bravely. Rise by loving courageously. Rise by loving unconditionally. But choose better who you give your love to. Not because some people aren't worthy of love, but because some people simply can't match the depth and intensity of what you offer. And that's okay, they're different. You aren't for everyone. You're for the person who understands you, who's ready to both offer what you offer and receive with an open heart what you give. Your rise begins with this understanding. True power isn't found in games or manipulation. It's found in vulnerability, in forgiveness, in caring. It takes much greater strength to be vulnerable than to build walls and pretend not to care. Love isn't a battle of egos. Love is kindness. Love is empathy. Love is building bridges, not walls. Yes, putting your heart and soul on the line might end up with you hurting badly, but if you don't take that risk, you'll never know what you're missing. You're truly alive when you love from the bottom of your heart, when you don't play safe, when you don't build walls, but bridges. Here are the steps to rise through heartbreak and find authentic love. First, honor your pain, feel it fully. Don't rush your healing or use someone else's band-aid. Second, take honest inventory of what happened. What was your part? What patterns do you need to break? Third, rebuild yourself through self-love first. Learn to love every part of yourself, especially the parts you hope someone else will love you for. Fourth, reconnect with your authentic self, who you were before you learned to play games. That person is still inside you. Fifth, choose vulnerability as your superpower. Enter your next relationship not from emptiness needing to be filled, but from fullness ready to be shared. Thank you for joining me today. If you're in that dark place right now, remember, this pain is not your destination. It's just part of your journey. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need these words. Sometimes the person who seems strongest is the one most in need of permission to be vulnerable. Remember, your capacity to love deeply isn't a weakness, it's your superpower. And your heartbreak isn't your ending, it's your uprising. Until next time, this is Roxandra reminding you that you don't just survive tough times, you rise through them stronger and more authentic than before.